Hi everyone. So last video I talked about the pre-qualification process and especially the first time home buyer program, which we call the FHA loan program. Today I want to discuss closing costs that go along with the whole mortgage situation and what is known as the seller's concession. Um, I previously mentioned 5 to 6% down for the closing cost amount. And that's 5 to 6% of the mortgage amount, which is the total offer price minus the 3.5% down, the balance of that, 5 to 6% of that. I usually advise people to have in savings to go towards their closing costs. And as I said in the other video, additional about 2,000 or so to go towards the inspections that you're going to do. And you have to have 1 year's worth of homeowners insurance paid up front prior to closing. Now, closing costs, everybody asks about closing costs. Closing costs are all of the costs from the bank that's related to getting the mortgage. It's your mortgage application, it's your appraisal, it's your attorney's fee, it's your insurance, hazard insurance and all those. It's your prepaid taxes, 2 to 3 months sometimes, your surveys, all the things that are pertaining to the actual transaction. The only things that are not a part of your closing cost would be the things that you're doing, like the homeowner's insurance, which I talked about before, as well as your inspections. Those you have to pay for separate. Those are not part of your closing cost. In New Jersey, the buyer does not pay their buyer agent. The buyer agent is paid out of the proceeds of the monies that the seller negotiated with the listing agent. So luckily for buyers in New Jersey, you don't have to worry about paying a buyer's agent. So that doesn't come into play at all. So I hope that helps with clearing it up. Now, the thing that I want to clear up is a lot of times people come to me and they say, the mortgage rep told me to have the seller pay for my closing costs. Okay. Then I have to explain that the seller is not really paying for your closing costs. What you're actually doing is you're financing your closing costs. And the seller has to agree to that at the very onset of your offer. Okay. In New Jersey, that's what it is. You have to do that at the onset of your offer because you cannot go back later and say, oh, I want to add seller's concession. So let me explain how this works. Let's say a house is $300,000 on the market. I'm going to use the full amount to explain this. If you were to offer Mr. and Mrs. Seller that $300,000 for their house, and you decided that you want to have $10,000 towards your closing cost, Mr. and Mrs. Seller will only be getting $290. So $10,000 will be going towards your closing cost, and Mr. and Mrs. Seller will be getting the difference of $290. Now they have to okay that. So that's why it's called, that's why some people are thinking the seller is paying for your closing costs. You're actually borrowing the $300,000. So in essence, you are paying back. Your loan amount is $300,000, not $290. So I hope you understand how that works. You're actually financing that $10,000. Okay. Now the disadvantage to that is if there's someone else who is offering Mr. and Mrs. Seller the $300,000 and they are not asking for a seller's concession, then Mr. and Mrs. Seller has all the right and most definitely will accept the offer that is $300,000 for them and not $290,000. So I hope this explains to people what a seller's concession is. It is a good thing because you can keep $10,000 in your pocket, but at the same time, you can be at a disadvantage, especially in a seller's market like we have today. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to type them and I will read them and I will try my best to respond as quickly as I can. Okay, and reach out to me if you have any questions at all. I'd be happy to help. So that's it for today. My next video, I will talk about being qualified for a single family versus being qualified for a multifamily home. A lot of people I find do not understand the differences, so I will explain that in the next video. Until then, hope this helps. Like my video if you like it. And if you have any other suggestions or anything you want me to talk about, feel free to let me know. See you at the closing table. Bye.